Hi everyone, today we'll talk about the earnings that have come out this week. It's been absolutely crazy, there's so much earnings going on. I've been struggling to keep track of all the earnings, especially yesterday. There were just so many coming out and I was trying to flick through all the articles to read what had happened with that stock and why it was moving. But some interesting earnings overall. The big common thing that we've seen is a lot of companies saying that the economic slowdown has pretty much affected the stock. We had a few companies cut their outlook, but a few have actually risen their outlook, and a few of them have actually moved in the stock market and gone up quite a few percent. But yeah, a really interesting earnings report. So I'm going to get stuck into the stock. I'm going to give my few opinions on the stock and a few reasons why that stock moved and a few things they actually reported. So we'll get stuck into it. So on the day we had the Dow up 1.7%, we had the S&P up 1.5%, we had the Nasdaq up 2.2%, and it was a pretty decent day. And then the Fed also came out, and when the Fed came out, they announced that they're going to be very relaxed on the interest rates, which all the investors were like, yes. So that pushed the stock up a little bit more. I actually hope that the Fed meeting would be on a different day so we get a nice boost then, but it all came in the same day. Some of the stocks that I had were up massively. I think everyone had a pretty decent green day overall, so that's what we all wanted. The big one that we announced first was Apple, and Apple was up 6.83%. We had the iPhone sales that were down 15%, but we kind of knew that was going to happen. I didn't think iPhone sales were actually going to be down that much overall, but yeah, down 15%. We kind of knew that was happening. We've had loads of hints at it beforehand. Mac revenue was up 9%, which was decent. iPad sales climbed 17%. The wearable business side of it, which is Apple Watch and iPods, that was up 15%, and Apple Pay went up with the amount of transactions it had as well. Obviously, Apple itself is just trying to go from being this kind of service company now. It's trying to get to that service company where for so long it's been known as the iPhone company, and it's trying to push into that service category right now, which is doing a pretty decent job of really overall. Pretty decent from Apple. Obviously I'm a shareholder, and as a shareholder that was good news to hear. Like I said, I'm not going to add any more shares into Apple at all, but it was good news overall. AMD posted 23%, I think exactly, revenue growth, which is the second time it's posted double-digit revenue growth overall. Good gross margins from the company overall, and it's just a stock that's beaten down. We've had so many stocks that have been beaten down in the stock market, and even if the earnings wasn't amazing, because it's so beaten down, you see people actually get a bit of motivation to get into the stock and go buy them. A lot of the sellers that are in the stock are pretty much sold out, and then you get them. Those are the people that don't really make money in the stock market because they're not conditioned to handle the drops that happen, like what happened in AMD and Apple, for example. But AMD, pretty decent earnings, and I would have backed AMD to beat earnings overall, because of how beaten it's down, and the stock going up as well. eBay, I'm really annoyed with eBay because I've actually made a video about is eBay a buy in 2019, and because of the stuff that have come out with Elliott's investing into it and this earnings report, I'm going to have to change a few of the information on it, but I'm going to probably release that next week. But eBay's earnings were decent. The buyback was announced, an extra buyback. And also it announced its dividend for the first time, which we kind of knew it was going to come at some point, which I mentioned in that video that I did. But like I say, I'll still put it up. I'll just change it just slightly. Alibaba was up 6.34%. That's just another stock that's beaten down. My JD position is actually doing amazing as well. Thinking about China stocks. Royal Caribbean Cruises was up 9.97%. Another stock that I mentioned that I was looking at buying, but now because it's gone up, I probably might avoid it. They've been beaten down for so long, but when you look at the fundamentals in Royal Caribbean Cruises, it's a really strong company, is that. Boeing, I was absolutely gutted when Boeing announced their earnings. You know that I mentioned on free stocks that I'm buying, I was looking at getting into Boeing, and then they go announce the earnings, which was amazing, and then the stock goes up to like $3.90. I was looking at getting into that stock about $3.30ish, which isn't going to happen now because of how high it is. I'll probably have to wait a while for it to drop back down to them prices. But really strong earnings overall. Good guidance given. One of the big things it said is that it's going to also be manufacturing the planes a lot quicker, which we don't want them actually manufacturing planes too quick when we're using them. But overall, yeah, it was a good earnings report from Boeing. Facebook, probably my favourite actually from so far was Facebook. The active users is always a big focus, and that it didn't change at all. It flatlined. The European side of active users actually increased, and there was a few Eastern countries overall that increased their active users. The revenue side of it increased, really good increase. Ads making money per user increased. In the US, Facebook is now making, I think it's $30 off every user, which is insane. I said before on this channel, I like to always say things before they actually happen. But Facebook, I said that it can't stay at these prices for much longer, and there we are. I think that's the push up that it needed. I wouldn't worry too much though, because I'd say Facebook about fair value is about 180 from there, and it's a bit closer to it now after that jump. Microsoft's my biggest position. 12% revenue increase, which is great. The stock did 4% after trading hours, but I've looked again now and it's not 4% now, it's about 2.5%. But the big thing with that was that its cloud service slowed down a little bit. It grew by 76%. You say slow down a little bit, and it's still growing by 76%. And it was down from 98% earlier in the year. There's just a lot more competition in that kind of sector, and it's still a great company in that sector. So don't worry about it too much. Like I said before, if Microsoft does drop down to that $99 per range, I will be buying a couple more shares into that company, and I will say when I've got the shares in that company and make a video on it on this channel. Like I said, $99 is where I wanted to get in. If it's only a few dollars off, then I might get in today. We'll see what happens. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm still thinking about it, but I'm pretty much ready to jump back into, well, add more positions, shares into Microsoft over like the next few days. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'll make a video about it if I do. Tesla had an absolute quiet earnings report for their standards, only down 4%, but the earnings report wasn't decent. It pretty much went down 4% because the CFO left. Cash on hand went up quite a bit, which is good. Revenue wasn't too bad. Yeah, it's just quiet for Tesla. Like, a little bit disappointed because normally they give me something to talk about, and it was pretty quiet really. So hopefully Elon Musk comes out and just stirs the pot a little bit by saying something or tweeting something. We'll see. PayPal, they went down slightly. Decent earnings report, but outlook was light. Pretty much blamed it on eBay. But you know, strong company. I would like, I've always said I'd like to get back into PayPal at some point. $80 is probably where I'd get into it. So even with that drop, I wouldn't get into it. I'd wait to get to about $80 before I did. And I've also got Visa as well. Visa, just speaking about them, pretty much the most inline earnings report you could have announced. Nothing at all to talk about. But it did go down 1.6%. MasterCard is tomorrow, so we'll see how they do. Tomorrow overall we've got UPS, we've got MasterCard, we've got Amazon, so I might talk about them. I'm not sure. It depends if something interesting happens with them. I like to see MasterCards because of Visa, see how they compare. UPS because of FedEx. It's just interesting to see because of that. And Amazon normally sometimes, absolutely smashes earnings, so we'll see how they do. But yeah, interesting earnings report. I'll try to do a preview of next week's earnings again on Saturday if I have time. If I do, I'll upload it for you. If not, I'll put another video up for that. It just takes a little bit of research time to do it all. But those were the earnings today, guys, that I chose. I missed a few out, I know, but some good ones there, interesting. Like I say, Microsoft is probably the one that I'm going to add shares in. With Royal Caribbean Cruises going up and Boeing going up, that kind of sucks because those were the two companies that I was looking at getting into next. So I probably had Microsoft, and then I'm looking towards probably Constellation Brands and United Rentals are two stocks I'm considering right now. So I'll consider them too, and like I say, I'll talk about them in a little bit more detail on the channel in a little bit. And if I do get into them, I will post it on this channel that I did get into them stocks. But that's the video for today, guys. Thanks for all the support recently. Got to 170 subs, which is absolutely amazing. So thanks for that. Keep it up, keep subscribing, keep liking the videos, and I'll see you in the next video.